So, hey Gemini, this is your beautiful reading for whenever you find it. It's not time specific, it's not sign specific even. It's definitively for Gemini, that's for sure, but you can watch this if you're a different sign for your sun, moon and rising sign. So make sure to check out your sun, moon and rising sign. And by the way, my name is Chris, if I haven't said that already. Relax, you're safe here. Take a deep freaking breath, right? And just be here with me right now. Tarot card readings, the way I do it, it's not like gloom and doom, right? I'm not telling you future. The tarot card deck is basically what life can throw at us. And we're diving right in. There's the Hanged Man, the Six of Swords, slowly gliding on to something better. The Moon card, subconscious energy, Four of Cups, kind of ignoring some blessings, right? And so I'm not doing a particular reading style like the, I don't know, Celtic Cross or something like that. I'm just reading cards, right? I'm just seeing how we can deal with stuff that life throws at us. Six of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, very much steadiness. All my cards are kind of upside down. Ten of Swords, an old idea of yourself. I'm holding them upside down. Three more and maybe a tenth. Let's just see. There's the Emperor, the Magician, and the Chariot. Bottom of the... No, it's too early for the bottom of the deck. There is the Knight of Cups. Okay. And the Empress at the bottom of the deck. So let's just unpack this. There's a lot here, but as I said, I'm ordering them around the center. And the center is the Knight of Cups. You're basically taking something that is yours, right? That is uniquely yours. First of all, loving yourself, respecting yourself, truly being yourself authentically, unapologetically, and just trusting that that is enough to get into a frequency for abundance, for, good stuff, right? Going on with that, because really there's no other option. If you try to be someone else, there might have been a version of yourself that is completely over, that was primarily guided by pretty cold steel swords energy. That's intellectual energy, right? What looks good on paper, what looks good on my CV, right? What is something that I might, use when I apply for a job. Things like that. These are just external things that are not really, you might have a degree, you might have this or that, and that's all right. But the most important thing is that you are being you and you loving yourself. And maybe you have not done that all the time. Maybe you were focused on external stuff, focused on playing a role, focused on, what people expect from you, what you think they want to see in you. And sometimes that needs to be disappointed, that old idea of, external validation. I need to be someone for other people. That is the Ten of Swords, right? This is the old version, but you're gliding on to something way better here. That's the Six of Swords. There might be a disappointment here, right? Something old. Maybe even the Emperor, maybe even the Magician, because we got the, the High Priestess, right? At the bottom of the deck, right? So the overall energy is much more trusting yourself, resting within yourself. These two guys, these are very masculine, outward-oriented energies where you just want to impress people, where you want to make things happen. This is this kind of the idea of how is it called? Dominion over the world or dominion over other people. There's this hierarchy and making it happen, but through force and through violence, sometimes even. That's the Emperor, that's the Magician. And I think this is kind of connected to the Ten of Swords, because this is all very swords energy, like very masculine energy, and nothing wonderful. Masculine energy is fantastic, but it doesn't need to be one-sided, right? So this is one story, and maybe this idea of I have to do it all by myself, I have to make things happen, I have to, you know, this idea of hierarchy where you have to, you know, push others down in order to, you know, give yourself, I would say, the false sense of elevation. This is over. And this is the old paradigm, and we all had to play and work and survive in this old paradigm, right? But this is finally coming to an end. And it's not negated, you know, it's not completely negated. There's still hierarchy in the world, and that's fine, right? There doesn't need to be toxic hierarchy. Hierarchy is not bad in itself. Masculinity, all for it, right? Absolutely. That's not bad in itself. But if you push it to the extreme, then it becomes very destructive. And I think since 2008, probably, we all pushed it to the extreme. We all wanted to function, and, you know, we have to run faster, you know, because everything is getting more expensive. Everything is getting more stressful, more demanding, work harder, you know, things like that. And you get less and less out of it. And there comes the point when eventually you say, oh, well, F it, right? I mean, this is obviously a game we can't win. Only billionaires win this game. So why would you play it? And this is the old approach that is kind of, a lot of people are waking up to this idea that running faster is not going to solve it this time, right? So the advice here is not the magician and the emperor, but what else we got here? Subconscious energy, trusting your emotions, trusting your inner feelings, resting within yourself. There's the Moon card, there's the Knight of Cups, right? And there's another combination here. I mean, we all have to pay our bills, right? There's the Six of Pentacles and there's the Knight of Pentacles. You got two knights, the Knight of Pentacles, very practical, down-to-earth energy, where you might have a day job, where you might have, you know, but just have it to pay your bills, right? If you think you're going to, you know, a few decades ago, we could say, if you work harder and you put something to the side, you can maybe afford a house and get a pension. But this is practically no longer true, right? So pay your bills, be practical, have a day job, right, that pays the bills, but don't take it too serious. Usually these systems are designed to exploit people. So, you know, you get something out of it. There is continuity. How's that word? You know, constant effort into something that you have already planted, that you already got, and you finally get something out of it. But I feel like you're getting something out of it by taking a step from this emperor magician approach. You know, emperor magician approach is, I want to be super successful and get as much out as I can, right? And I really want to, you know, call the shots in this game and be the king of the hill of blah, blah, you know, career, singing and things like that, right? So you don't need to be grandiose. You don't need to be great in order to be happy and lead a good life, right? And this is the kind of approach where you get something out of it by taking a step back, not trying to do it all by yourself, not trying to be the emperor and the magician, the maker, the super, you know, I do it, I call the shots and I'm the man, right? So you don't need to be or take responsibility for just everything. You don't have to do it all by yourself, and you don't need to be there's this radical quote from a wonderful poem from Mary Oliver, Wild Geese. I love it. It's fantastic. Is it Wild Geese? Yeah, I think it is. There's this line, you don't have to be good. And when you hear it the first time, whoa, Really? I thought I had to be good. You can be good, but you don't need to be grandiose, right? You don't have to walk 100 miles through the desert repenting, right? Get this. I'm going to link this poem at the end of this video so you can watch this and check this video out at the end. That's fantastic, right? So you don't have to be, it's not going to work unless you sell your soul to, because in this economy, in this world, you literally can't make it unless you sell your soul to the devil. And the devil is somewhere in here too, but he didn't show up right now. But what shows up is this rat race, right? Rat race is the word. Quit the rat race. Quit this idea that if you just work harder and run faster, you're getting somewhere. This idea is completely over. And there's a subconscious energy here, intuitive energy, where you really connect to what you love to do, right? You shouldn't live for the weekend. You should live every day and enjoy every freaking day, right? Not wait for the weekend to mow the lawn and then maybe get an afternoon on Sunday or something like that, where you feel, I'm me, right? I can actually sink into just being me in the right here, right now. This feeling, you deserve this, that's a God-given divine right, right? You have every right to be here and you have the divine right to feel that way, and whoever is taking it away from you is not your friend. And there's thoughts energy, there's mindfuck energy, and we've all been mindfucked into believing if we just run faster and work harder, we can make it. But the system is tuned in a way that's not true anymore. Maybe that has been true a few decades ago, but certainly not in 2026, right? So don't run faster. Stop, come down, slow down. Take your time and enjoy the day, every day. There should be a good time in every day. And I've been at a place where that was not the case for me. So that is the goal, not the emperor, not the magician, super career, checking boxes, trying to impress other people, but being content and happy with yourself, resting within yourself. And exploring that inner feeling, tapping into that inner feeling that is the contrast to the magician here, that's the high priestess. You tap into that, right? Feeling good again, happiness as a priority, right? Not your pension fund that might burst in 10 years anyway, right? That's not financial advice, right? I'm just a freaking tarot card reader on the freaking internet. So I'm not doing financial or lawful, legal advice or whatever. God. I'd rather say this, right? So you get something out of it, Six of Pentacles, by taking a step back in terms of your career, or this driven, focused, harder, faster, approach, basically. This is all when you're gliding onto something better, and you might already know. First of all, you're gliding over to something better. That's the Six of Swords. You might realize you already got it, right? You just have to arrive in the here and now, in the moment. And when you arrive and realize, there is that cup, that I might have overlooked while I was doing the rat race and running faster and, working harder all the freaking time. Take that and, not run with it. We're not running with it. This is stationary night, right? Very slow. He's not in a hurry or anything, right? And by just taking it slow in your career, you might get more out than back in the days when you were still running. So then you have time for a slow progress in what you do actually love, what is connected to your subconsciousness, to your intuition. And while you are, moving on from this career thing or this hyper masculine, toxic masculine almost, right? there's divine masculine, of course, right? But the divine masculine doesn't need to push other people down in order to give himself a false sense of elevation. That's actually very toxic. So you don't need to be the super boss. You don't need to be the super career man or something like that. And it's obviously kind of turns into a reading for men, but it's for women as well, right? You kind of take the same way. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to, whether you're a guy or girl or whatever unicorn gender, right? You don't have to, make it so freaking serious, and there needs to be fun and joy and lightheartedness in your life. And you find the balance when you take a step back and do not worry so much about your pension fund or your pension at all, right? Because, I don't think the people who pay tons, but it's not, I shouldn't talk about this so much because that's your decision to make. All I'm saying is you should never take advice in this regard from from anybody, right? You have to make your own decisions, and you have to only take what resonates with you. What is here on the table is taking a step back in your career, in the way you make money, in the way you assert yourself in the world, or how you connect with the world, basically. Take a step back, not be so driven, and remember joy, and you tap into your intuition and your subconsciousness, and then there's the chariot, right? Then everything is going very, very fast, and maybe transforming your life just by slowing down, right? That's the slow down reading, that's for sure. So slow down, my friend. Let's just do some clarifiers. Yeah, there's the devil. And the devil is clarifying this trinity here of the emperor, the magician, and finally the 10 of swords, right? Because this is a very toxic energy to, you think you can, maybe I become a billionaire, then everything is going, and you just have to work like 16 hours a day, and then I can make it. But you know what? The system is not designed for you to make it. The system is designed for you to exploit you. And so don't try to do the 16-hour. I did 16-hour work days, right? A few years ago, I did 16-hour work days, and I really believed, I can make it if I just push in and do it harder. And no. Take a step back. This is how the universe is giving you something back if you just be the Knight of Pentacles. Now the Knight of Pentacles, by the way, is the only stationary knight. He's protecting his little field that he planted his seedlings or seeds into. He's protecting his pentacle, right? He's smart with his money. He is responsible with his money. He's not overspending, that's for sure. But you don't need the big bucks if you just be smart about it. And then you don't need to work so much. You don't need 10 subscriptions. You don't need the fancy car payments or whatever, right? Why would you need that? Do you want to impress someone? That's external validation again, and that's very toxic. You don't need that. You don't need all that shit. You need, I don't know, a few subscriptions, right? Maybe music, maybe, I don't know, it's your choice, right? It's your money, do what you want. But do you need 10 subscriptions? Do you need 5? I don't know, maybe 2 or 3? Wouldn't that be enough? So you can cut down on all that shit and work less for it. And the time that you win, the time that you gain, you might realize, that's so much better. And I had that. I just had to take a step back and realize, there's a 4th cup that is handed to me as the Ace of Cups, and that's self-love. Philautia, right? And the practice for that, let's just do a freaking second one. Yeah, you're moving on from this energy of overthinking, 9 of Swords energy. What else we got? There's even the Lovers here, and it starts with loving yourself, respecting yourself. And I want one as the Ace of Wands, following your passion, bottom of the deck, justice. So justice is coming. Maybe you have taken a step back, or you're going to take a step back, and I would not... I mean, this is just a tarot card. You always just take what resonates with you and reject. You don't, you just reject the others, leave it for someone else. These are general readings, so only take what resonates with you. But my advice would be, life should be good. Life should be fun. Life should be not, you shouldn't have a bad feeling Sunday afternoon because you have to go to work on Monday. That's not how it should be. Right? And for what? For a pension? So you do this 40 years and then you're miserable with 65 or 70 or maybe 75, however long you have to work, then done is better than perfect. The moment you feel like you have to prove your worth to someone is the moment you walk away, right? Because you're good enough, just the way you are. You are grown up, right? If you say something that you do something, then you do it and you follow through, right? But you don't need to be so freaking hard on yourself all the freaking time. Never negotiate who you are. And I think it's time for you, for us, for all of us to tap back into who we are and be proud of that and be happy with that and be joyful about it, right? And going forward in that energy of self-love and self-respect and being enough for yourself, right? First rule of mental health, learn to distinguish who deserves an explanation and who deserves an answer. So who deserves an explanation, right? Who deserves an answer and who deserves absolutely nothing, right? That's you can be nice about that. You can say fuck you in a nice way. You don't say it, but yeah, sure, I understand your point, but have a nice day, right? Fuck you. You keep that fuck you part in mind, and you're grown up, you're not aggressive, but you can say, and you don't have to engage with every narcissist that comes your way and tries to trigger you and tries to test you or tries to play mindfuck games with you, right? So don't engage, don't defend. What else we got? Don't personalize and don't defend, don't engage, don't explain, and don't personalize, right? Winston Churchill. I mean, he was a intense figure, right? But he said a few really significant things, right? You have enemies? Good. It means you stood up for something sometime in your life. So maybe you stood up for yourself, right? By rejecting this mega career, by rejecting that emperor magician approach where you have to call the shots and you have to do the 16-hour work days, fuck it. Howard Zinn, what matters is the countless small deeds of unknown people who lay the basis for the significant events that enter history. They are the ones who have done things in the past, and they are the ones who have to do it in the future. And right now, I might add. Howard Zinn. What matters is the countless small deeds of unknown people who lay the basis for the significant events that enter history. They are the ones who have done things in the past, and they are the ones who have to do it in the future. And by the way, they have to do it right now. And by slowing down, by saying F you to that system of, there's this concept of annihilation through work. That's what the Nazis had, right? They were literally killing people by overworking them or exploiting them through work, right? So this is kind of baked into this very toxic system that we have here on the side with the magician, the emperor. But it's over. The devil is here as well, clarifying this kind of block here. And don't participate in it anymore. You need to participate it to pay your bills, to make sure that you're not homeless, that you're well off, that you can buy your groceries. But 16-hour work days to get your pension, and then when you get your pension, you're sick from 16-hour work. That's not a good idea. But it's exactly the freaking system that they built for us, right? So the number 10, the Blue Angel Oracle deck, and that is actually the Blue Earth Angel. Blue Earth Angel, and I like it a lot. Shows up a lot. You're expanding your awareness and evolving to a higher vibration. This vibrationary shift is part of human natural evolution. It is occurring alongside rapid technological change, right? AI. Time seems to go faster and faster. The days and years fly by. This is why you feel overly sensitive and emotional at times, and why there is so much fear and confusion in our world. Looking back at our history, we see that great change usually occurs in times of conflict and upheaval. Perhaps these conditions are necessary for major change to occur. The beautiful angel on this card here is here to assure you that all is well and unfolding as it should. You are safe and humanity is on the right track, even though it may not always seem so. Some outdated structures, hello, that career stuff, right? External validation stuff, right? I need this, I need that. I need to push people down in order to give myself the false sense of elevation. That is effing over. I try to curse less, but I use effing instead. That's fun as well. And by the way, I'm not a native speaker. It's so much easier to curse in a foreign language, and so much more fun too, because it's kind of not really affecting you, right? I wouldn't say that I'm German. I wouldn't say that in German, but I wouldn't curse all the free. I'm not doing that in my own language, but it's so much more fun to do it in a foreign language, because it's kind of, but I understand, I think kind of half of you are American or not American, so I try to curse less in the future. But keep in mind, it's so much more fun. If you speak a foreign language, you might understand. So the beautiful angel on this card is here to assure you that all is well and unfolding as it should. You are safe and humanity is on the right track, even though it may not always seem so. Some outdated structures in our global fabric might need to fall, along with some outdated views and mindsets. That's the 10 of Swords here. This is a necessary part of our evolution. A new era will soon be born, one of higher awareness and great love. You are part of this new world. If you found this channel, by the way, it's a good time to tell you to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you very much. And if you're resonating with this, you're part of this new world. And this old world, just don't fight the old system, build a new system. The new system needs to be a system where people can freaking be and just enjoy themselves, because that is their divine God-given right to do so. And this old system doesn't want you to be happy. They want you to work harder for them so they can buy another yacht or something, right? But you don't want that. Dear Spirit, number 18, bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch. The time has come to be gentle and diplomatic when dealing with others. You might have found yourself in a situation where negotiations are necessary in order to reach your goal. Be mindful of the words you choose, but do not worry. Dear Spirit reminds you that you have the ability to be sure-footed and confident while showing humility and respect for others. You will find that your capacity for calm and grounded communication is heightened at this time. Calm and grounded communication. So if you say F you in your mind to that system, to that old approach, there might be others who are still in that system, who are still doing the rat race, who are still thinking, okay, I just do 16-hour work days and then I have a huge pension and I super enjoy my pension, right? But till then, they might be sick and, from 16-hour work days and spend all their money on medical bills. So there is a developmental phase in which you just try that. That's the approach, and people are going through this. So if you finally wake up and say, okay, that's not it, that can't be my life, that is not what I want. If you wake up from this and you take a step back and you do maybe work less, right, and cancel a few subscriptions and, just have a lower tinier, smaller footprint in life, right? Don't need so much, but don't work so hard for it either. And just take that time to be you and enjoy the moment. You don't have to prove anything. Don't have to do anything. Just do what you love, be you. And that in itself is this blue earth angel energy here. And if we all do that, we're just creating the new system without fighting the old, right? So, but there are still people in that old mindset. So don't be rude about it. Don't laugh at these people. I've been one of these people. You probably have been one of these people. Maybe you're still in with 1 foot or 1.5, right? So don't mock this. Don't laugh at that, right? Have respect, and you can't force people to do anything. You can just show things and suggest things and give people inspiration, and then they take it or they don't. This is my approach for tarot card readings, and this should be your approach when you're making a developmental step for yourself, and maybe you're leaving behind people who haven't done that yet. So don't look down on them. This is just, the universe is multidimensional in all freaking directions. So you might be going ahead in one direction, but maybe you totally don't get it in the other direction. So there's just so many perspectives. And this year, moving on into a better frequency, I would say. So be calm and grounded in your communication. Your communication is heightened at this time. Follow the way of dear spirit and you will do well. Gaining the respect of others and finding common ground that is pleasing to you. Remember that understanding others and their needs will be more powerful at this time than putting your own first. If you do that, you will be rewarded tenfold. So, yeah. Love yourself, respect others, respect their choices in life, but by all means, make your own. And the big advice would be take a step back in the career, or at least consider that, to open up the space for more me time or more you time in this case, right? And realize your blessings that you already got and work with that and just carve out space for yourself to be, because that's your divine right. And that's all I got. Then you're the blue earth angel, and then you're part of this transformation in consciousness, which is blue earth angel, kind of an evolutionary step in consciousness for humanity that we're going through right now. And the old system doesn't like it. It's kicking and screaming. You see it every day on the news. But you don't need to fight that. You don't need to comment on that, right? Literally, and on social media or to your friends. So you don't need to brag about it if you say you already knew it. But just take a step back and let them. You do your thing. You do you. And there's so, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. A balance between practical, down-to-earth, career stuff, financial stuff, Pentacles energy, and then the Cups energy, emotion, resting within yourself, blossoming in your own being, right? And if you bring that in a balance, there comes the Chariot. And then check out the next reading. That's all I got. And I said I'm going to link Wild Geese, the poem, somewhere around here, but you can check out also your yearly reading. There's a spring reading, and hopefully see you next time. Now goodbye, my friend. Ciao.